Hi everyone, hope you're keeping well and welcome to my video today. So I thought I'd do a reflection piece today based on my realizations for going into UX. So I kind of had a little bit of a ponder and a little bit of, I suppose, imposter syndrome recently, where I think, oh my God, I'm going into UX, it's something that I really enjoy and I've read up about, but I've wondered if my experience of marketing actually is relevant, and it kind of got me thinking in terms of like realizations, in terms of debusting myths, in terms of transitioning from one career to another. And I know this is quite topical at the moment due to industries changing, job roles changing and emerging. So I thought I'd go through, I suppose, the 5 realizations I've learned during this process from moving to marketing to user research and design. So my key one is number point is don't discredit past experiences. So for me, I felt like from some people, I felt like it's two opposites. So going from marketing to user research. For me, it's I better specify I want to go into user research rather than user design. I'm more of a researcher and analyst more than a designer. So for me, I thought, oh my gosh, it's two different ends of the scale. What am I doing? Also, looking on the internet, there isn't much publications in terms of people transitioning from marketing to UX. There's kind of articles saying the similarities between the two, but there isn't a lot about transitioning. And reflecting on my experiences, and if somebody was in my shoes, there is a lot of crossovers between the industries and also job roles. And it can feel like when you're discussing these things, it feels like you're going into A, an unknown, and B, it feels like going backwards, when in fact it's a massive step up in terms of where you've gone through. Marketing is highly relevant to user research and design. So I can name about branding. When you're looking at doing either UX or UI design, it's all about branding, it's all about imagery, it's all about tone of voice, it's about understanding the key elements that customers are assuming or what they want from a brand and what kind of image the brand's perceiving. So that's highly relevant. Also looking at the staging funnels, particularly in marketing and when doing campaign management, you've got to focus in terms of understanding, okay, awareness campaigns, how are we going to create customers and how can we make them aware of our brand? And it's the same with, I suppose, when you're doing client briefs and understanding what purpose of the UX project's about. So you've got to understand where in the process or the funnel that the customer or the key problems within. So is it conversions? Is it looking at consideration phase? Is it to do with looking at the introduction to the brand to the user? So that kind of crosses over as well. Also, the analytics side of things. This is kind of a heavy thing in my heart because I am a data analyst and marketer by heart and by education. And it's really relevant because you've got to make sure that you compare the metrics, what you're going to compare the results against. So when you do UX projects or even marketing campaigns or looking at customer analytics, you've got to focus on the metrics. So is it about brand awareness, looking at those key metrics and then take KPIs from it? Is it looking at conversion rates? Is it about retention? And it's that specific crossover between UX and marketing, which makes it an ideal scenario for, I suppose, perceiving that it actually is a really good experience to take on board, and the fact that utilizing that experience gives me more of an advantage than what I thought it'd be. So step number 2 has been don't think you have to be perfect with everything when you're crossing over. Actually, it's better to focus on the skill sets that you think you can bring over, that makes you unique within that sort of field area. So for me, I've got experience in customer analytics, branding, copywriting, um, metrics, and also website content and design. So I'm not particularly a designer, as I said earlier in the video, but I am quite a wordsmith. I can do blog posts, I do videos like this, and the fact that it kind of brings in sort of that behavioral economics. So understanding how the customer's actions and responses are affected by the brand. So it's also taught me about the aspects of um, understanding where my skill sets can grow within the field of UX, which is great. because I feel like actually I've got a set skill set that makes me stand out from the crowd. I'd also like to add in the fact that I want to go in a really specific area of user research. So for me, I am a massive fan of social impact user experience and research. So for me, I'm kind of building up on my previous experience within university socials, and also within my current path is starting my own social enterprise. So I kind of want to bring that board and create my own USP really within UX. So it's brilliant. Number three is a field where you have to constantly learn and grow. And I think that's appropriate across a whole board. Particularly in marketing, I've had to grow and learn within techniques of analytics. I've had to grow in terms of new terminology that keeps coming out, particularly with digital marketing, because I come from, I suppose my emerging markets from offline marketing, but I'm growing in terms of aspects into digital marketing as well. So you have to keep up and make sure you research everything. And that's true with UX. For me, I've had to, I suppose, read up daily in terms of new trends, new ideas, and new perspective of things. So it's all about keeping up to date. And I don't think that's just from my job role, but it's across the board. So that would be my note and intake should crossing over from one career to another transition. Number four is definitely particularly relevant to my heart is don't be afraid of asking for help and for moving over. And I've got to be honest, I find I reached out to the UX community. Some people have had like 20 years experience, and I've just emailed them out, both via LinkedIn, via private messaging, through other contacts that I've gained within the field, and they have been absolutely brilliant for help. Don't be afraid to look like I have, like stupid or unknowledgeable, because they're there to give you help and they give you so much advice, and I've grown so much in terms of understanding what my problems are. So for example, I've had to reach out recently because I've had to create my own UX project on my own. So I had to reach out in terms of how do I create a client brief, and I had to reach out in terms of understanding what questions do I have to ask the client, how do I plan this, what kind of um, key questions will I need to answer, or kind of what formats would I have to deliver to the client in order to understand where the deliverables are. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because people are willing to help you out. Nobody thinks you're stupid. You know, it's better to ask for help than doing it on your own and messing up completely and thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I asked for help at that stage. Because it's okay to fail, but you're less likely to fail if you ask for help beforehand. Um, and that's something, if I reflect on, I wish I asked that in my marketing experience. Um, I think particularly because to grow, to highlight where I want to grow in my career, looking at aspects where I've actually struggled with, and I've wanted to actually push myself out there to actually go in new directions. I kind of wish I took that from my marketing experience as well. Number five is collaborate as much as you can. I find, particularly transitioning from marketing to UX, I find UX is so much more collaborative than what marketing was. I feel like marketing is still a siloed career path. Particularly for me, I've been in um, 3 or 4 different marketing departments, and I still find it's very much an individual thing, where it's a group rather than a team. Um, so actually looking outside of the box in terms of going into UX, in terms of like doing the case studies, doing courses, speaking out to people, it's more of a collaborative approach. And I think for me, it's great to sort of see that it's not just the individual. You're bringing your expertise, but then also somebody else is coming and bringing their expertise. It's about a team effort, and the whole point of like synergy. So, for example, the 2 + 2 = 5 scenario, it kind of brings that into it. The fact that you're going to grow more if you have somebody else to help you. Um, so it's all about the collaboration and make sure that you seek advice as much as possible, and also seek to work in a team more. So I think that's something that, as much as a realization from my marketing experience, that's something I wished I had more. But from marketing as well, I do have that collaboration with external parties instead. So I've worked with agencies, I've worked with designers, I've worked with media planners, I've worked with, I suppose, even legal bodies as well, and suppliers. So I can bring that experience with the collaboration side of things in terms of building something more to UX, and hopefully that can be transferable as a skill set and experience that can bring me more. So hopefully I've given you some insights into my personal realizations in terms of transitioning from marketing to UX, and I'm hoping this resonates with some of you who've probably struggled with trying to transition over to something and feeling like you don't belong, but you do. You have relevant experience. Don't discredit any experience that you've got. Make sure you collaborate for help and seek out that help, and make sure that don't feel like you have to be good at everything. Just learn and grow, and then see the area of field where you feel like you can transfer over and be the rock star that you are. So thank you very much for your time today, and I'll speak to you soon. Ciao for now.